Hey guys, in this video we are continuing on with the educational series, How to Build an Online Business with the MyListing WordPress theme. In this particular video I'm going to be covering some general optimization tips and what you can do to keep your website in tip-top shape, as well as to optimize it either before launching, after you've launched, and then continuing to maintain that optimization. So just some general optimization stuff and my recommended tools for that. As we've done throughout this series, we've used the MyListing project template as our guide. You can get your hands on this template or check it out by going to the MyListing Club website. That's mylisting.club. And then right here on the homepage, click on the MyListing project template card. This is going to walk you through what this template is all about. There's even a walkthrough video here in the middle, towards the middle of the page, and then my changelog at the bottom, just keeping everybody up to speed on what I'm adding and updating to this. I have spent the past 3 days completely going through every task card and updating them, adding more content and stuff to them, adding new task cards, and that sort of thing. So lots of changes, exciting changes coming to it. Really happy with this particular product. You can click the buy now button to buy it straight away. If you are an Ultimate Club member, you can get a 50% off discount. If you buy a starter site from me, I will give you a copy of it for free. And if you are a MyListing website care client, you can request this template as many times as you would like. Okay, so enough about that. I'm going to close that down. Here we are looking at the template itself, and we are still in the performance column, as we see here in the top left. And with this template, we work top down and then left to right. So once this column's done, we move over to online presence. In this video, we're going to knock down all of these in the performance column, and then we'll move on from there. So it's database optimization, asset and general optimization, remove old plugin data, and then lastly, we're going to audit our page weight and the complexity of those pages. And with that last task, you kind of like see how you're doing after you do all your other performance related stuff. Okay, let me get this out of the way here. So what I've done before this video is I've installed a bare bones MyListing website. So here we see in the back end, it's got the MyListing theme with absolutely no changes done other than importing the demo. And then on the plugin side, we see it's just the bare bones, what is required to run this theme. So Elementor and WooCommerce. And the reason why I didn't proceed and put other plugins in there is because I want to see how and show you how the page weight and complexity changes with every plugin that you add to that. So here on the front end, we're looking at the demo site for MyListing, the main demo. Okay. All right. So first thing up is database optimization. Revisions, comments. Comments can come in the form of just regular comments you're used to seeing on a forum, blog posts, things like that. But with MyListing, you've also got the reviews and things like that. There's product reviews, all kinds of things. So revisions, comments, spam gets in your database, transients get in your database, just as like stale data. Your trash bin can fill up. So all of this stuff kind of sticks in your database, and you want to keep it optimized. All the stuff adds to the database bloat. Okay, so you should optimize your database regularly to keep it running as best it can. And for this, I highly recommend Perf Matters. If you've watched any of my videos or read any of my guides, you'll see that I recommend it all the time. It goes on every single website that I ever build. It's one of the first plugins that goes on there. I highly recommend it. I should have installed that before starting this video, actually. So let me just go ahead and do that. That's the one video I should have added on top of what I've already done there. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get that in there. Okay. So like I said, Perf Matters is what I recommend. I'm going to show you how to do that with Perf Matters, how to do this with Perf Matters. Discounts and guides on the club website for Perf Matters. There's videos. Definitely check it out. Okay, so really quickly, we've got Perf Matters installed. We're just going to click Settings here. and we're going to go into tools up here in this top toolbar and click on database. And what you want to do here, especially if you're on Kinsta, you want to toggle on all of these things except for tables. That's the part with Kinsta. Kinsta already optimizes your database tables for you. They've got a really robust system for doing that. So if you're on Kinsta, you can enjoy that feature already. There's nothing you need to do there. This could actually do more harm than good if you're on Kinsta and you try to optimize the tables with a different tool. Okay, so if you're on Kinsta, toggle these on. Don't toggle on the tables. And then we're going to set a schedule of weekly. You can do more than that. I wouldn't do daily. I would give it a chance to fill up a little bit. So weekly is like a good balance. Monthly I feel like it's too long to wait. So that's the other option. So I would go weekly. Click Save Changes there. So that's going to get you on that schedule now automatically. But what about the stuff that's already in there? This is a new site, so there's not much going on. But you can see already just with what we've done, we've already got 70 transients and then a few other things. So what you can do is just click the Optimize Now button. So get that first optimization done and out of the way, and then you're going to be on that schedule going forward. Sometimes you won't see all of the transients cleared. You could try running the Optimize Now again, or just give it some more time, and sometimes it clears out. But it's not a huge deal if you've got a few of those left over. Okay. Yeah, so that's it with the database optimization. Pretty quick stuff there. Yeah, there's other plugins on the market that do it, but since I already recommend Perf Matters for every website you build, I build, you shouldn't have to go out and get another plugin. It's already in there. Okay. All right, so moving on. Asset and general optimization. Again, we're back at Perf Matters again. I've got guides for Perf Matters and videos on how to clean all of this stuff up. Yeah, I can't imagine building a MyListing website without it because of all of the assets that load on pages, for one, that are not needed. So I'll give you one example. Contact Form 7 loads scripts, assets on every single page of your website, of a MyListing website, even if the form is not on there. So let's say your homepage, for example, even if you don't have a form anywhere on that homepage, Contact Form 7 is gonna load its data. That's why I recommend switching from Contact Form 7 to Elementor Pro forms, and I've got a guide in the club for how to do that as well. But that Contact Form 7 is not the only plugin or solution that does that. A lot of them do. So it's something you want to look at. Okay, so how do you clean all this stuff up? I'm not going to go in depth into this because I've already got the guides and videos, like I said, for this. But quickly, what you would do is we go over to the settings of Perf Matters. And then under assets, we're going to toggle on, this is just one of the things, okay? So script manager is this main one I'm talking about here. So you just toggle that on. And then just pull up any page here. So we'll just open this in a new tab. So let's say our home page here. So hover over the home page and then open this with Script Manager. And this is in my guide, but I'm going to quickly set this up. So I'm going to toggle these on. Okay. So what this is it's showing you all of the stuff that is loading on your homepage. Okay. So let's look at some really quick examples here. So WooCommerce is not needed at all on a homepage 99% of the time. So what you do is go in and say, toggle it off, say on the current URL, toggle this off on this current URL, and it's going to stop all of this stuff from loading on the homepage because it's not needed, right? And you just keep going through here. I wouldn't touch the MyListing stuff unless you really know what you're doing because it can break things. But yeah, getting into some of this other stuff. So for example, if you don't use Google Maps or Mapbox on your homepage, then you can toggle this off. Block library is typically not used on a MyListing website. You can toggle that off. Typically, you can do that everywhere. and so on and so forth. There's Google font stuff in here, but you work through here and you kill all of the assets, JavaScript and CSS, that is not needed to load on the particular pages. And you can do all kinds of dynamic stuff with they call it regex. So if let's toggle off WooCommerce on any page that doesn't contain the URL cart, for example, that would do that. So that way you don't have to do script manager on every single page individually. You could target devices, you could target users, just really cool stuff there. Okay, so like I said, that's just one part of Perf Matters. It's just such a powerful plugin. You start diving in there, there's just lots of stuff that you can do. Deferring JavaScript, delaying it, removing unused CSS. I used to use WP Rocket back in the day. You don't need WP Rocket if you have Perf Matters and Keensta. It's just, you don't need it. So definitely check that out. Give it a look. Again, discount and guides all over the club. Yeah, check it out. Okay, so moving on from that one, let's talk about removing old plugin data. So I talk a lot about staging environments. I want you guys to test any solutions that you're thinking about using. Test them in staging first. Don't just dump it on your live production website. It can cause issues straight away, conflicts, all these sorts of things. So in general, you want to test anyway on staging. But for this particular task card, I'm talking about old plugin data. So let's say you install a booking solution plugin or an events. Let's say an events plugin. They're pretty heavy. And let's say 10 days later, you realize that's not the solution that you want, or you don't want it at all. Once you remove that plugin, hopefully you remove that plugin at that point, oftentimes they're going to leave data behind in your database. And not only does it fill up the database, but sometimes it's going to try to load data on your pages every time you load it. So it's kind of like the previous task I was telling you about. It stays behind in your database, and there's this thing called auto load. So you load the home page, maybe it's trying to load some event stuff that shouldn't even exist anymore. So really important that you keep this stuff on staging until you're pretty certain that you're going to use it long term. Okay, but let's say you did it in staging, you followed all the right steps. The event plugin that you were testing, you want it, you put it on production. And then for whatever reason, let's say they go out of business or whatever in the future, or the roadmap they're not meeting the roadmap goals and you just want a different solution. Then you decide to rip that plugin out. So how do you clean up after it? If you've got the project template, I've got a link to it. But if you go to the YouTube channel for the club as well, there is a database cleanup video in there. So check that out on how to clean it up. If you're with Keensta, it's really, really simple. Well, I say simple, but they make it as simple as possible. You just go into your dashboard here, which we're looking at on my screen. Go to Tools and click on, Info. And you'll see this database access section here. Just click on Open PHP My Admin, and then you'll just put in your credentials in here, and you'll be right into your database, and you can do searches for the events plugin and remove it. Again, check out my video. I walk you through how to do this. Okay, so that is that, and the last bit of this is auditing the page weight and complexity. So I have a link to this tool in the project template, but while Elementor is making great strides to improve performance, it's a very heavy plugin. The MyListing theme is a heavy plugin. WooCommerce is a heavy plugin. So you're dealing with all these heavy plugins that add page weight and complexity to your website, and you need to audit it and fix it. And you fix it primarily with Perf Matters. And then there's other things too. Everything counts. Image optimization, Perf Matters, killing those assets, not loading plugins and stuff that you don't need on your site, transitioning to plugins that don't load on every page, like Contact Form 7, getting rid of that. All that stuff adds up, right? Okay, so let's look at this tool here. This is a really simple tool that I like to use, and we're just going to drop in this clean MyListing website that has nothing but the theme. So again, we've got the theme, the latest version of the theme, Elementor, Perf Matters, and WooCommerce. So very bare bones setup here. Let's see what this thing shows us. Yeah, while this is running, so page complexity is measured by excessive DOM depth. So that's like if you look at the source code of a page, I don't know if maybe there's a link in here. So let's see. Do a search for. Let me do a search for DOM on this page. DOM. There we go. So this is kind of like what a DOM. What I don't. I'm trying to think of the acronym. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyway, it's you see here. It's like this. It's the structure of your page and all of the things that load to build that page for you, to render that page. So page complexity is measured by excessive DOM depth. So this is the DOM depth we're looking at here. You want that depth to be as little as possible. One of the big complaints about you'll hear a lot about Elementor or Divi or some of those other tools like that, is they call it like divception. It's like all these divs, div, like unnecessary div. But Elementor is working to make that less of a problem these days. So hopefully they continue to do that. So again, page complexity is measured by excessive DOM depth, CSS rules. So that's just basically saying unnecessary CSS. Same thing with unnecessary JavaScript, JavaScript execution time, things of that nature. Anything that affects the building, the rendering of the page to the visitors. So I'm showing you this tool. It is free to use. And again, the pro tip here is work on this after you've built everything. There are arguments to running this as you go along also, which we're going to do here in this video, to see how things change, to see what things affect what things. And you should be doing this in staging instead of live as you go along. Okay. So let's go back here and see here. So we have a grade of B, but like I said, we've got very little things going on. We've got the demo. There's not demos. MyListing demos don't have a whole lot going on to them. So I'm not surprised that we're getting an okay score right off the bat. But let's look at some of the problems here. DOM access. Yeah, a lot of stuff here from let's see, what is this? Yeah, I don't even know. I'd have to dive into that one a little bit more. So let's see, CSS complexity. So we've got a ton of CSS stuff going on here. This is where the Perf Matters stuff comes into play. So here's an example right here. WooCommerce layout, that is not needed on the home page. Google Maps, I'd have to look at that. WooCommerce general style is not needed. WooCommerce, all this WooCommerce stuff can go away on the home page. And then all of this stuff will clear up. Yeah, this one too. Anything WooCommerce. WooCommerce, just lots of WooCommerce stuff. Here's the blocks here that's not needed that I showed you earlier. That can go away. Some of these fonts can probably go away. All right, so that's where we're getting at that F there. You just really want to clean that stuff up. Yeah, here's some font stuff here you can dive into, but you really want to just work on getting this stuff cleaned up. All right, so we've got a B here. Let's go ahead and let's do a new test. This time, let's go ahead and install Contact Form 7 and see how that affects what we're doing here. Okay, we'll run that. While that is running, So really quickly, if showing you how perf matters and that script manager works again. So let's go back in there. Let's pull up that home page. Let's open script manager. And I'm not going to set this because I don't want to affect our scores. But again, you would come in here, you would find that WooCommerce section. Don't toggle off the whole plugin. I found out with the recent updates to Perf Matters, they improved something within the plugin. So you don't want to just toggle off the entire plugin. You want to leave that intact, but then everything underneath it you want to disable. So again, I just wanted to remind you this, how to do this while we do the video. Yeah, you just work through here. Here's that blocks library again that you're not going to use. You can probably just kill that I kill that everywhere. Okay, let's see how our test is doing here. All right, so before we had to be a 68. So overall, it didn't impact that much. It had to have changed some things. I'm just not sure. Rules count 1196, redundant tags 460. It could also be caching that I need to clear. Let's do that. Let's do that and then run this again and see. What else can I tell you here while we're killing time? Let me go back through these tasks again. Perf Matters, we covered that. Pretty in depth there. Let's look at the, let me pull up that database here. So Nkista, database access, open PHP MyAdmin. I'm going to copy this password. So just put your credentials in there and then boom, you're right in here and you can start cleaning stuff up. So usually it's the options table is where you want to look, is a good place to look, this WP options table. And you can search the table by events. Let's say you're trying to clean up an events plugin. Let's do a search for Woo. That should come in there. So you see there, you've got some WooCommerce stuff. Here's that auto-loaded column. So this is saying that when you load the page, it's going to load stuff. So all of this stuff is trying to load when you load a page, any page on your website. All right, let's go back here. There we go. Okay, so we do see some changes. It was because it was cached, but we see total weight of the page 243. Now it's 244. And I'm not going to sit through this video, put you through me going through this line by line, but I guarantee that every plugin you add is going to add a little bit to the new test. Okay, so let's go. A lot of times, I would say, I can't imagine building a MyListing website without Elementor Pro. So let's go ahead and add that in here. Okay, so I'm going to add that. I'm not going to update it or anything. Let's clear the caches again and let's rerun our test. Okay, I'm just going to give this a second to run, and then we'll continue with this. All right, so the test is back. We see that, so we started with a 68 there. I don't do a lot with scores. Like I don't really pay attention to that per se because that can mean a lot of different things. But the moral of the story here is we can see that our score is degrading, and you just want to find out why that is. Our page weight went from that, it jumped up. and some other things changed, right? So that's just by installing Elementor Pro. We haven't done, like if you look at the homepage, it's still running just Elementor elements, okay? So now you're gonna go in there and you're gonna start adding all kinds of stuff using Elementor Pro. Then this score and all the stuff, the page weight, everything, all of that's gonna change again, okay? So something to keep in mind. What else can I throw in there? So, yeah, there's a lot of other things that we can throw in there that people often do. This is why a lot of times people will come to me and say, Ryan, your starter sites are not fast. Like if I did a speed test and they're not fast. And my reason for that is because I can deliver you guys an optimized starter site on Keensta. We're using my plugin stack that I know that works and all of that stuff. But the problem is, as soon as that site is delivered, there's no control over anything. So I don't know if someone's going to add 50 plugins to their site, remove my plugins, what hosting they're going to be on, that sort of thing. So the moral of that story that I'm telling you now isn't to give you excuses for why the starter sites aren't performing, but all of this stuff that you're doing to your sites needs to be thought out thoroughly. Test it in staging. Find out if you really need it. As you go along, test your, I know it's time consuming, test the stuff, see the impact that it has, make sure there's no conflicts. Just constantly be testing your site and be cognizant of what you are adding to your site. It's not just about performance. You could be causing conflicts. I've seen sites that have 5 Elementor add-on plugins that's with everything loading that causes issues. Yeah, the moral of the story, again, pay attention to what goes on your site, keep tabs on the performance, keep stuff clean using database optimization, remove that old plugin data if you have to. Come in those situations where you've removed plugins, you need to clean stuff up. Work through perf matters to get those pages loading as fast as possible without breaking anything. Optimize your images. Maybe I've already said that. Keep that page weight down. Throw a CDN in front of it like Cloudflare. Throw awesome hosting at it like Keensta. And you will be well on your way to optimizing these sites. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next one. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.